Welcome to the Ancestor channel. Now I am going to teach you to make a Christmas tree so that they can put it outside their homes. Since they are like those who sell that they are wire and have lights, but at a fraction of their cost. It is very easy to do and surely they will love, so we see what we will need to do it. We will need the most important thing, that is the wire, and that it is not so thick. That is to say that they can fold it easily. Some tweezers to cut and fold this same. Plastic belts that will need enough to buy the complete bag. Some lights of the color that you want, but that preferably are outdoors, and optionally a garland to decorate it. Although they can leave it pure structure. Now let's see how to do it. The first thing we are going to do is take the wire, and you will cut a piece of the size that you want to make the base of your tree, since you can do it as large or small as you want. Since they know how much, cut the extended with their tweezers and reserve. Now he wins a circle of the size they have decided, and preferably with 2 wires. That is, 2 laps, and bend the ends to hold, and this does not lose its shape as you can see on the screen. They can do it with their hands, or if it costs a lot of work, with the same tweezers with which we cut it. Anyway, do it very carefully so that they do not cut as it happened to me, and that I already realized until the second we did. Since they have tangled it well, they must have more or less like that. After, optionally, take some plastic belts and put 4 of them, like forming a cross. Here in the last part 1 did not put because the same wire holds the circle well and will also serve as a reference. But already finished, only cut the plastic surplus of these with scissors so that in the end they have something similar to what I showed them in the video. Now take your wire again and do exactly the same as with the first circle, but now making it a little smaller than with the other. So calculate as long as they need and cut it with their tweezers. Then form the circle that we have just mentioned, and in the same way as with the other, entitled it with the same wire so that it is well held and does not fall apart. And finally, also put the 4 plastic belts, which in this case we only put 3 to adjust and define the circle better. In the end they only cut the surplus and should have something more or less. Lastly, they repeat the same process but with another smaller circle, and in the same way they entangle it to itself, but here as it is almost the same diameter that as it came tangled, there is no need to put plastic belts. So it is already optional if they want to put them alone as a reference, but since they finish, they should have 3 wire circles such as those that I show them on screen. Now you just have to join them. For this we only make 4 wire strips of the same length of the diameter of our base, and we started joining them, taking as reference the parts where we put the belts, tangling them either with their hands or as well mentioned with the tweezers so that it costs them less work, but this is already like you, accommodates you better. Try to be the best possible united, although optionally they can adjust it with other belts if they would like it. But since they finish them, they should have the 4 united wires more or less as I show them. Now we do exactly the same with our circles in the middle. The same, making some wire strips of the diameter of this and tangling them in the parts where we put the plastic belts. Remember to leave it as tight as you can, and so you are moving. It does not have to be perfect, much less since in the end they will adjust everything anyway. Since they have the 2 circles with their respective wires, it is time to join them. So they do the same as a moment, just trying to make the best lines of the circle below with the strips of the above. This can cost a little work, and in the end I realized that it was much easier to have made a complete strip instead of dividing them, but I explain them better in a moment. Keep joining the wires as firm as possible so that there is a stable structure, but since they finish it, you should see something similar to this. Now only need to tangle the smallest circle, and we do it exactly the same here. There is no reference from where to put the wires, so adjust it where you want. Just be sure to squeeze them as strong as they can make it firm, and do not say but as they see. The structure more or less must be like a cone as well as they show them, but it is still necessary to adjust it and leave it with a better way so we see how it looks. As you can see, I do not stay in a perfect way, but since they put the lights in Aguirre, Aldo will look very good. Here as you can see, it has a circle of wire between the 2 of above. This is what I told them that I discovered and late. That it is better to make a long wire and then join the circles with the belts. In this way, it is easier to be faster and can adjust them and leave it almost perfect, since the belts can be moved even after tightening them. If you want to fix them so that they do not move, put another one through it as I do in the video. In this way the structure will be fixed. Now let's decorate. I began by putting the garland, or as they call it in your country, covering all the wires, that is, forming the 3 circles, entangling it to all of them, trying to make the best possible and do not see them. They can be helped by the plastic belts if they need it, but since they have covered all circles should be seen in this way. Then we took other strips of this and cover the vertical wires, entangling them in the same way we did with those of the circles. Already finished, it should be seen more or less like that, but as they see, you still see the gaps. so that they fill it completely, or as I only did, as sometimes between each of the spaces that were between the 4 wires. They can do this in circles, in spinal, or as you like more. Remember that it is only a suggestion and that I know that you will have much better, but since you finish covering everything, should be something similar to this. Finally, just take their lights and start putting them, holding them with the plastic belts. Remember to leave enough space between the connection and the tree so that they can connect it without the need for extension. In this case I put it on a spiral since I think it will look better and cover all this. Put it as together or separately as you want, but always taking into account the length of your lights. Mine are 100 foci, so I do it with considerable space to cover everything. Keep going around and adjusting with the belts that you need, so they will tell them that they will use enough, but since they finish filling it, only cut the plastic surplus of all the belts with their tweezers and will remain as I show them. Here I made that piece of lights left over since I made a star with the wire, and that it is totally optional, but if they want to do it only to their tree with the same wire, trying to adjust it as well as possible, and it is firm, so that they then put their lights on the entire edge of this, adjusting it with the belts, and finally end their lights. Everything is over. This is how it will finally remain. Now let's try how it looks on and put where we want it. As you can see, it looks great, and it will be an ornament that highlights the decoration of your home, either inside or outside it. In this case I put it on the outside because I felt that something was still missing. But you will decide where to put it, or even give it to a relative or friend, and surely they will love it. And best of all, apart from that, it is something you did. It will cost you a fraction that one of those who sells at this time. And not only has to be a tree, they can make any structure with the wire and decorate it with the lights. Whether they are gift boxes, some reindeer, a snowman, etc. So do it, and if they do, please send your photos to any of our social networks to publish them. As you know, if they liked this video, give him a little man, subscribe, share with all their family, friends and acquaintances. As always, see you in the next videos. Thank you.